Hello and welcome to the first episode of the K2 Real Estate Channel. My name is Kiki Salcido and I'm joined with my lovely wife Kristina. Together we are K2 ABQ Realty team with Remax Elite here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We are very excited for today's show. We get to answer two of the most common questions we get, and that is, what is a realtor and why should we use one?
I want to also point out that not all realtors are built the same. That is one thing that we try to stress a lot to our clients. It's just like any industry. You have people that do it full time. It is their career. They are 100% on top of it. And then you have others that dabble. So I do want to point that out, that they are different in certain ways.
So I think first we should start with what a realtor is. Now, a realtor is a licensed real estate agent who is also a member of the National Association of Realtors, better known as NAR. Now, what that really means is that realtors are held to a higher ethical standard than your typical real estate agent. We have to abide by a code of ethics. Now, how does that translate to the clients is we have to do everything in your best interest 100% of the time. Otherwise, we can lose our license. In order to get our license, we have to go through a bunch of classes, take our state and national board exam, and then we have to stay up to date with all this continuing education.
So yeah, in order to keep our license here in Albuquerque, we have to take 36 hours of continuing ed courses every 3 years just to keep up with our license. And that matters to our clients because with these courses, we're constantly learning about new changes to the market, new things that come up, new documents, new laws, new protocols that come into play, which will help us be more of an asset to you. We also have other things that pertain to different properties, such as solar panels, septic, well, just to name a few, that we have specific courses built on teaching us more about that particular subject. And, these other courses also include marketing, which is a huge part of the whole real estate industry.
I think marketing is one of the most important parts, and that's why being a realtor is very valuable because we get access to the MLS. The MLS is the multiple listing service, which essentially is just a giant database that has all the listings in a specific area put on by those realtors in that area. But that is just the MLS on such a small scale. The MLS is so much more. It holds property data, tax data, zoning information. It even holds information like sellers disclosures, things that you can't find on Zillow or Trulia and things like that. What's awesome about the MLS for our buyers is that whenever our buyer comes to us with a specific search, we type in their criteria, we save that search, and then anytime that perfect home comes on the market for them, it gets sent straight to your inbox. And you're the first person to see it. So I think that that's powerful, especially in this market that's, so fast-paced and growing at a tremendous rate. But also on the selling side, it's powerful to use the MLS because once a listing is active on the MLS, it gets sent to all the top real estate websites. That's huge because 86% of all buyers start their search online. So that is just a huge marketing tool on top of being part of something like a big brokerage.
Yeah, we have tons of brokerages. They're national. We're with Remax. There's Coldwell Banker, Keller Williams. There's a bunch that are national brands. So it's something that's a household name. You know the branding. You know the logo. You know something of it. You've seen the signs. There's also boutique brokerages as well, and those typically tend to have a specific market, whether it be a certain area of the market or a certain type of market. So there's some that'll just dabble in foreclosures. There'll be others that'll just do rentals and so on. But with the national brand, in terms of marketing, it's really, really beneficial to be with a big name because they spend millions of dollars a year on their brand marketing, their websites, things of that nature, so that when you list with a big brokerage, people recognize the logo, they recognize the name, and it's something that I feel that would be more trustworthy. So if you drive by a sign that has a balloon on it, you know that that's Remax. And I feel like a lot of times with buyers, whether they're with an agent or not, they recognize that brand and they associate it with, the brand recognition of the stigma of having professionalism and knowing the brand. So for example, if you're at the grocery store, you're going to most likely go with a brand that you've heard of than one that you haven't. However, boutiques, depending on what you're looking for, boutiques can be really good as well if you're in a specific niche market. So it just depends on what you're looking for at that time.
And then we're going to have a whole other video on ways to vet your realtor so that you know that you're working with the best person for you, because that's what's most important in this transaction is you. So I think that kind of talks about what a realtor is in essence. Now, why should we use one? And this has just been a mind-boggling question for me, especially coming from a buyer's point of view, because most of the time, a realtor is 100% free for the buyer. This is very impactful. But on top of that, a real estate transaction can be very stressful, can be very, very overwhelming. And so it doesn't make sense to me why you wouldn't have an experienced professional on your side that's going to take away the headache, that's going to save you time, that's going to save you money, because they are experienced negotiators. They are going to give you the best offer right off the bat, and
they're free.
We're free on top of it all, yeah.
Free. I mean, I don't know the last time that I had someone work for me 24/7 and have my best interests at heart, and I didn't have to pay them anything. So that's a big factor that people don't know. I think for the seller side, it can be a little different. So we get a lot of times, well, why would I list with a realtor? And on the selling side, yes, we do have a commission, we do have a fee. However, if you factor everything in, what the realtor actually does for you on the listing side is something that we're going to touch upon in another video, because it's just a multitude of things. But just to cover a few, they help you prep for your home. They've seen hundreds of thousands of homes. They know what's going to sell or what you need to do to prep for it. They find all the data that you need to have. Title-wise, they get you in touch with the title agent. They're in contact with the other person on the other side of the deal the entire time. So for the most part, the seller can kind of sit back and we kind of do all the work for them. So,
I think that's one of the most important parts of having a real estate professional on your side is the automation. Our daily lives are very busy. But imagine, real estate is our full-time job, so we do this 24/7, and thankfully for us, we're in a position where we can do it 24/7. If it's somebody that has a 9-to-5 job and then they have to try to sell a house on top of that,
it's stressful. And also on top of that, if this isn't your industry and this isn't your full-time job, you're trying to learn how to sell your house, and you're trying to learn all these different marketing. Also, on top of that, you're going to probably be paying for advertising at some point, whether it's through a magazine, newspaper, generating ads on Google or something, if you're really adamant on selling your home. So we've also realized that the statistics on people that list with a realtor, that don't list with a realtor, the chances of them selling their home at a faster pace are exceedingly higher with a realtor.
There's also a lot less of a chance of there being money left on the table.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that kind of wraps up what those two main questions are. Now we're going to answer one of our questions from a viewer. Now this is from Cheryl in Albuquerque.
We are thinking of selling our home for sale by owner. If a buyer comes with an agent, do we still have to pay the typical percentage to that agent? Good question.
I think that's a great question.
I think the best way to answer that is, for the most part, unless someone is driving by and they see your for sale by owner sign in front of your home, the only way that they're really going to see it or kind of have access to it would be word of mouth.
Or if that for sale by owner, the owner actually put it on like a
Zillow or Trulia.
Mm-hmm. But even then, like we said earlier, marketing is such a huge part of this. So if you don't have, great pictures, if it's not posted in every single place that your consumer is going to be looking, you're going to have a really hard time selling that house. And then on top of that, you're being in a legal binding contract with another person. So if something falls through the cracks, you're held liable for that.
And also, if someone does come in with a realtor, most of the time that realtor will contact you ahead of time, because they're typically, a lot with our clients, they'll call us and say, hey, I know that this house is for sale. Can you schedule it for me to go see? Well, if we see that you're not with an agent, we're going to contact you directly, and we're going to say, look, I have someone interested in your property. Can we talk about compensation? And it's only fair because when it comes down to it, on the buying side is when we're sending in the contracts. Mm-hmm. So we're doing everything. So it's protecting us as well as protecting you, because if we send you a contract and you don't understand it, or if something happens, that's kind of on us. So then we're kind of at that point negotiating between the two of you.
Yeah.
So most of the time we will contact you and ask you to fill out a form of compensation. If not, especially if you don't know the market that well and you don't understand contracts, the buying agent will put in the offer, if let's say their client does want to offer on your home, they'll put in the contract, purchase price of $500,000. However, you need to pay for title. Seller needs to pay for inspections. It needs to pay the compensation for the buying agent, etc. So by the end, in not knowing how to read contracts, you're going to see $500,000. You're not going to realize that there's all these, deductions being taken off of it, and in the end you are probably going to lose more money than if you just had another agent working for you in place.
An agent that is, has your best interest at heart.
Exactly.
That's going to be trying to get you the best deal.
It's like trying to go to court and represent yourself as opposed to having a lawyer.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper, but you're going to probably spend some time in jail.
So that's a great question.
So thank you, Cheryl, for asking that question. I think that's a great start. Please tune in to our next episode. We'll be talking about why get into real estate, why purchase a home, something I think is very beneficial.
There's a lot of benefits people don't know about, which is huge. So we will have other episodes talking to lenders, but next time we're going to definitely touch upon some of the just generalized good reasons to do it.
So don't forget to ask your questions, comment below, and ask away. We are excited to answer them. We'll see you guys next time. So thanks for tuning in.
And from our family to yours, thanks for choosing K2.